Warren Jabali was a one-of-a-kind player for his era. Although only standing 6'2", he could play the 1 through the 4 due to his insane athleticism and strength. He could crash the glass, shoot the outside shot, play perimeter defense, and pass with the best of them. Warren became a legend in Kansas City as a high schooler amongst players like Lucius and JoJo. He would commit to Wichita State, where he was breaking several assist and rebounding records while playing the forward. After being drafted by the Knicks, he decided to go to the ABA, playing for the Oakland Oaks, where he would lead his team to a championship in 1969 after Rick Barry went down with a knee injury. Warren Jabali would be an all-star level player throughout most of his career, but his reputation amongst a lot of the players was shaky. He was openly discriminatory against white teammates and coaches, as he organized a boycott at an all-star game involving the black players. Despite all of this, his most controversial incident involved Jim Jarvis, where Warren sucker punched him and stepped on his head. This incident would mark him for the rest of his career, tainting his reputation. Warren would still be a multiple-time All-Star after this, but knee and back issues ended his career after only 7 seasons, just before the ABA folded, as he would never play a game in the NBA. But after his career, he turned his views into action, helping the youth in his community, as his widespread impact led to over 1,000 people at his funeral after his passing in 2012, with several people praising his character and gratitude. But Warren Jabali was a unique player for his time, and his brief but successful career should be remembered. Welcome to PZ Hoops, and this is episode 2 of ABA Tales. Warren Armstrong was born in Kansas City, as he was a high school legend playing for Kansas City Central. Although he was only 6'2", his otherworldly athleticism and strength gave him the versatility to play both guard and forward positions, as he was reportedly able to touch the rim with his forehead. He played against future NBA players like Lucius and JoJo, but he was considered by many to be better than both of them. Warren committed to Wichita State, but although he couldn't play varsity as a freshman, he showed his star potential, averaging 29 points a game for the freshman team. The Shockers actually made a Final Four run this year, led by star senior Dave Stallworth. By the time Warren was ready to play for the varsity team, he was slated as the starting small forward, as the backcourt consisted of 6'1" Kelly Pete and 5'11" Lillard Harris, and the tallest player in the starting lineup was 6'5". The Shockers were offense first team in 1965, as their defense was ranked 158th, so they struggled a little bit, although they got big wins against number 2 Michigan and Loyola, Illinois. The Shockers finished 17-10 following a loss to NYU in the NIT. Despite the team's average finish, Warren established himself as a star in his first season, averaging 16.5 points, 12 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, as he led the team in the latter 2 categories while ranking 3rd in scoring. Warren and his teammate Jamie Thompson both made the all-conference team this year. In 1966, the Shockers were the same average team, but they regressed offensively. Although they couldn't get a win streak longer than 4 games, they were able to get big wins over Bradley and Louisville, who had Butch Beard and Wes Unseld. Warren averaged 15 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists, once again leading the team in rebounding and assists, and making the all-conference team. But Wichita State finished 14-12, missing the tournament. In Warren's senior season, the Shockers hadn't improved much, but he would have the best season of his college career. Wichita State had a top 25 offense, but their defense was near the bottom of the country, so they finished 12-14. Warren would show his all-around skill set this year though, even recording a couple triple-doubles this year, as he averaged 19 points, 12 rebounds, and 7.5 assists a game, as he made the all-conference team for the 3rd straight year. When he left school, he was the all-time assist leader, 2nd in rebounds, and 4th in points. It was also around this time that Warren became involved in the civil rights movement, changing his last name to Jabali, which is Swahili for rock. Even though Warren had a great college career, he wasn't receiving a lot of NBA attention, so he was drafted in the 4th round of the 1968 NBA draft by the Knicks, but he chose to play for the Oakland Oaks of the brand new ABA, since they drafted him in the 3rd round. The Oaks were led by their superstar Rick Barry, but he had some nice supporting talent in Doug Moe, Gary Brads, and Jim Eakins. Warren would slide down to the shooting guard, starting from day 1, and he was playing well, averaging 18 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 3.5 assists in his first 10 games. But his role would increase a lot this season, as Rick Barry went down with a torn ACL on February 7th. Warren would increase his scoring in the 33 games after Rick went down. He finished his rookie season averaging 21.5 points, 10 rebounds, and 3.5 assists, winning the Rookie of the Year and finishing 7th in MVP voting. Warren would experiment with the three-pointer this year as well, leading the team with 44 attempts, making 11 of them. Amidst all of Warren's good on the court, he was in the middle of a lot of controversy this year, as he was openly discriminatory against his white teammates and the coaches. But the biggest stain on his career was in a game on January 22nd against the Stars. Jim Jarvis Jarvis had stolen the ball from him, and Warren was so enraged that he sucker punched him and stomped on his head while he was on the ground. Warren received a 15-game suspension and a $200 fine. Despite Warren's troubles, the Oaks had the best offense and the fastest pace in the league, finishing 60-18, facing the Denver Rockets in the semifinals. Warren put the team on his back in Game 1, putting up 28 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists in a 30-point win. But the series would go to 7 games, but Warren would average 29-13 over the next 6 to carry the Oaks to the division finals. They faced a New Orleans Buccaneers squad with a pair of 20-point scorers in Jimmy and Steve Jones. The Oaks would easily sweep them though, as Warren averaged 23-12. Oakland faced the Indiana Pacers in the ABA Finals. The Pacers had a nice core of Bob Mudalicki, Mel Daniels, Roger Brown, and Freddie Lewis. This was an extremely high-scoring series as both teams scored over 127 points a game. Indiana even put up 150 points in their only win of the series. But the Oaks would win Game 5 behind 39-12 from Warren, as they were ABA champions, and Warren won the playoff MVP, averaging 29-13 across 10 games. The Oaks had such a great team last season, but nobody came to watch the games, as they were competing with the San Francisco Warriors for the same fan base. So they were sold to a new owner that moved the team all the way to Washington, D.C., renaming them the Capitals. Rick was fully healthy coming into 1969, and Warren had the best season of his career, dropping his first career triple-double on November 6th against Miami with 24 points, 17 rebounds, and 11 assists. He also dropped his career high of 46 points on 56% shooting on January 7th against Denver. Warren made his first All-Star game, but Washington was struggling as they were 18-22 through their first 40. Warren would go down with a knee injury on February 2nd as he was sidelined for the rest of the year. The Caps finished 44-40, but they would lose to Denver in 7 games. In a shortened season, Warren averaged 23 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 4 assists as he shot 31% from 3 this year. However, he was traded to the Colonels during the offseason after a dispute with coach Al Bianchi. Then the Colonels suspended him at the end of training camp due to disciplinary reasons, and then he was traded to the Indiana Pacers. Warren's role would change in Indiana as he was more of a 6-man, as the Pacers had an established backcourt of Bill Keller and Freddie Lewis. Since Warren wasn't expected to carry the team, he settled into his role, as he would shoot the 3-ball a lot more this season, as he had 10 games with multiple threes, including a December 4th game against the Cougars where he shot 4 for 7. Warren served as a Swiss Army knife off the bench, as he could do everything on the court, even recording 4 double-doubles this season. Mel Daniels averaged 21-18, winning the MVP, as the Pacers finished 58-26, facing the Memphis Pros in the semifinals, who had a stellar backcourt with Steve Jones and Charlie Williams. Warren would have a limited role in this series, only getting about 14 minutes a game in the first 2, as he struggled through some nagging injuries. He would start in Game 3, but he would drop 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists on 1 of 8 shooting, but the Pacers won and took a 3-0 lead. He only got 7 minutes in Game 4, scoring 4 points, but Indiana would win. The Pacers faced the Utah Stars in the division finals, who were led by Donnie Freeman and Zelmo Beatty. The series would go to 7 games, but the Stars would be victorious, as Warren averaged 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Warren was on the move again in 1971, as he was traded to the Floridians for a draft pick and cash. The Floridians were a team on their last legs, as they were really close to folding. However, they had a great point guard in Matt Kelvin and a familiar face in Ira Harge, who was a consistent double-double. Warren would be the starter and get back to his all-star level, dropping 3 straight double-doubles to start the season. This would also be the year that he fell in love with the 3, as he led the league with 285 attempts and was second with 102 makes, and his 35.8% clip was 3rd best in the league. He even shot 6 for 10 from 3 in the game against the Cougars. His much improved season saw him named to his 2nd All-Star game, as he averaged 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. Matt Calvin dropped 20 points a game as well, but the Floridians were near the bottom of the league in both offense and defense, finishing 36-48, but they were able to sneak into the playoffs, facing the Virginia Squires. The Floridians were no match for Julius Erving, as he completely dominated, averaging 38 points, 19 rebounds, and 6.5 assists in a 4-game sweep. Warren averaged 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 5.5 assists, but he shot 31% for the series. As the Floridians folded, its players were put in a dispersal draft, and Warren was selected by the Denver Rockets. 1972 was the first year in the ABA that steals and blocks would be counted as stats. The Rockets had a solid team, with their elite defender and rebounder Julius Key and their high-scoring guard Ralph Simpson. Warren would show more of his versatility as he slid down to the point guard. He would have his best passing season up to that point, recording 18 games with double-digit assists. Now that steals were counted, it was clear to see that Warren was an elite perimeter defender, ranking 5th in the league in steals. He made his 3rd All-Star game this season, where he won the MVP of the game. His shot attempts went way down this year as a result of him being asked to run the offense. He averaged 17 points, 5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, and 2 steals, making the All-ABA first team as the Rockets finished 47-37. Facing the Indiana Pacers, Warren's role decreased as he only started 3 out of the 5 games due to a back injury, as Denver would easily be beaten, and Warren averaged 6 points and 3 assists in 25 minutes. 1973 would be another injury-riddled season for Warren. It started out pretty well though, as he continued to excel in his new playmaking role, averaging 15 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists through the first 10 games. But this would be the most inefficient season of his career. In terms of three-point shooting, this was his best season, as he shot almost 37%, which was 3rd in the league. Warren's best game of the season was on January 5th against San Diego, where he dropped 12 points, a career-high 19 assists, 6 rebounds, and 7 steals. He would make his 4th and final All-Star game this year before he went down on January 27th with a knee injury that cost him the season. The Rockets would finish 37-47 and lose the tiebreaker game to San Diego as Bo Lamar put up 40 points. In another short season, Warren averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, a career-high 7 assists, and 2 steals. Warren would be waived by Denver after his injury, as the All-Star guard had to wait 9 months to latch on to a new team. In November 1974, Warren would sign a contract with the San Diego Conquistadors, who had just come off of their failed attempt to get Wilt Chamberlain to play for them. San Diego had a nice trio with Travis Grant, Caldwell Jones, and Bo Lamar, as Warren would start as shooting guard. He would continue his great all-around contributions, although this would be the 2nd year in a row that he shot under 40%. And it's clear that his knees wouldn't allow him to be the athletic player that he usually was, so he started settling for threes, as his 193 attempts were the 2nd most of his career. But he would help San Diego in multiple ways, as he got 9 20-point games, 9 games with double-digit assists, 2 games with double-digit rebounds, and 2 games with 5 or more steals. San Diego still had the worst defense though, and the team went through 2 head coaches, finishing 31-53, as this was the first year that Warren had missed the playoffs. Warren averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals this season. In the offseason, it was clear to Warren that his knees wouldn't allow him to be the player he wanted to be, so he retired in 1975 at just 28 years old, as he would miss out on playing in the NBA. Warren's ABA career saw him become a 4-time All-Star, an All-ABA first-teamer in 1973, the 1973 All-Star Game MVP, the 1968 Rookie of the Year, a 1969 ABA champ, and playoff MVP, and a member of the ABA All-Time Team, while averaging 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists for his career. Although Warren was an excellent player, he was an intimidating force who barely smiled, as one teammate even recalled that he ripped the underwear off of a black teammate because they were made of cotton. He had a reputation as a militant, but being the leader of a black players' boycott at the All-Star game didn't really help his case. But there was no denying the talent that he possessed. His unique blend of athleticism, shooting, rebounding, passing, and perimeter defense is a combination we may never see again in a player his size. He worked to rebuild his image, recalling the Jim Jarvis incident as his biggest regret. Warren wanted to help the youth in Miami, so he became a teacher and a guidance counselor, as well as established multiple youth leagues for kids to play. Warren passed away on July 13th, 2012, at the age of 65. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you guys for all the support, man. We are really close to 1,000 subscribers, man. I really appreciate you guys for all the support you guys have been showing me. Like, it hasn't even been 3 months, and we're really about to hit 1,000. Like, that is unbelievable. I really appreciate all y'all for the support. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for all the comments. I read like every comment. So thank you for all the support. I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely drop some suggestions in the comments, but thank you. Please be safe. Stay on the grind. I'm out. Peace.